Last time on the Great Loop 2021, part 17, we met with some friends in Vero Beach, and then we got underway and started heading towards Titusville. Y'all stick around, we're going to encounter some heavy weather in Titusville and try to get into the dock for safety. Hey, if you're enjoying these videos, how about subscribe to the channel? Hit that like button and the bell notification to see more. So we left off heading out of Vero Beach and making our way towards Melbourne. It was pretty uneventful, except for Marty had a problem with one of the engines. We pulled over, and before long we had that squared away and got back underway. Yeah, we got to go to shore. There's a boat ramp right over there. Looks like Kontiki lost a starboard engine. Sure, it's got to be something too terrible. So Marty called me and said he had an engine down. We're going to go through the diagnosis phase, show you how we figured out. All we know right now. Yep. All we know right now is he had oil pressure and he had temperature, and it just died.
It coughed.
So some of my video got corrupted and I didn't have the rest of what we did, but it didn't take very long and we were back underway. I remember that it was a fairly minor problem. So as some of you know or remember during the actual trip, once we got to Titusville, I had to go back home, Central Florida, for a little over a week to finish up some work that I had going. Marty said he would watch the boat while I was gone, and so that's what he did. He would keep a lookout and go over and check on it every now and again. As you will see, that this particular marina is pretty well protected, but the mooring balls are not. I would not recommend coming here to this marina to get on the mooring balls. You're actually only protected from one direction, and that's from the east. You're actually open from the north, south, and west. And there was many days here that it was extremely windy. If you were inside, it would be okay if you was in the marina tied to a dock, but I wouldn't recommend staying out here on the mooring balls. So this was the next, I think, day or so. The wind picked up really bad. Marty wanted to go to the dock. I should have listened to my inner captain and stayed where I was, because though it was rough, being on the ball was safer than what ended up happening. But we ended up moving to go inside, and one of the reasons I thought that we shouldn't is, according to Wendy, which is the app that I use while I'm out on the loop, it showed that it was going to die down around 6 o'clock. And in fact, it did, and we'd have been okay. But we did go to the inside, and I'll show you what happened there. In preparation for docking, if you're pulling something like a dinghy or a kayak in this case, you usually want to pull it up as close as you can get it, so that when you start coming into the dock, it won't be so far behind you and you can maneuver a little better. Alright, got out my bumper so we can bump up, as I'm sure we will. So just as a reminder for those that have never done this, especially under windy conditions, you always want to go ahead and get your motors cranked and running. You definitely don't want to release yourself from any situation and then go crank motors, because I'll assure you that's when they won't crank, and then you'll be in a mess. Stay well right of that little buoy. It gets a little shallow, not too bad, like still 5 foot. Well, I didn't want to like that. When I look back, I was already on top of that ball, and I just going to float behind it. Not any more, I mean a little more than normal, that's all. Stay to the right side of the channel. It's going to try to push you to port. Looks like there is room on this T-dock. Enough that we can stop and get situated. I mean, it's still rolly, but it's probably more calm at the dock, at the public dock.
You just passed that T-dock I was talking about to your starboard.
Yeah, there's another one here, fuel dock. So it's times like this that determine what kind of captain you are. All I can tell you is to keep you calm and always try to keep you bow into the wind as much as possible. That's what you're going to see me do. Is I notice I'm coming in pretty hard, and use your engines to slow yourself and then try to turn and get your bow into the wind, because if you stay sideways or if you're backwards, you don't have much control. Though I did get in safely, I hit the dock a little harder than I wanted to. I think if I was you, I'd take it up to that other one. The wind's still howling right here.
I'm going to try to nestle up on that first one and shoot as soon as you come in. Now I'll tell you how lucky I was. Unbeknownst to me, the belt had broken on the starboard engine and it was starting to run hot. Thank God it happened when it did and not earlier, because that would have been a bad situation. No hurry. Yeah, but I'm just saying, you're not in a hurry. Just like you're going. So once I got good time tied up to the dock, I run over to help Marty. He had got off of the T-dock because it was bamming him against the dock, and he had a slip assignment where I was going to go help him get in that. rope, you're good. Doing good, doing good. A little more starboard. Looking good. There you go. That'll work. You see that thing in the water out there?
Yeah.
Looks like a friggin' boat, top of a boat.
Yeah, it's a fly bridge.
So after helping Marty get in, I went back and checked on Good Times, and of course she was rocking and rolling, and I tried to fend it off as much as possible. Well, we're in. It is what it is. Of course, this happens at the worst of times. I'm not even in here. I did hear it, you know, it's squealing like normal. It's always stopped. So I'm thinking it'll stop like normal because I can't hear it. I mean, it was boiling smoke out of there.
Really?
Steam. Yeah, it was hot. There was no water in it. Disregard all this noise. That's the wind, that rubbing against the dock. I know it's annoying me. Got my belt popped, not sure why. Everything turns well, so I'm getting ready to replace that real quick. I just hope it didn't do any damage to the engine, so it's not a big deal if it didn't damage the engine. Belts break. Not sure why this one broke. They do break.
Any idea where the water's coming from?
The what?
The water, where you lost it from?
No, not yet. But it took water and it seemed to be holding, so it didn't run right out. That was encouraging. So long story short, the belt just broke. I guess it was old, although I put on new belts before I left. But it broke. I filled it back up with water. Had to run up to the store to get a new belt, and I bought another one. And it cranked up and ran fine. I do need to check it though. Listen, so remember when we had a person telling us that we needed, what was the switch name that killed your engine?
Yeah.
All right. It started running hot just as I was coming in here, apparently. Imagine if it would have killed my engine when I was approaching this dock. This is why that's a bad idea. Only if you've ever been in a situation, and it's happened to me several times, where the motor dies at the inopportune time, and I was in a dangerous time, it would have been disastrous. I'd rather it do what it did, ran hot, got me to the dock, and I shut it off. This is, to me, this is why we think this way. This is the exact reason. Oh look, there's crocks on the motor. Let me get them off. Come on, little buddy, you can do it. Don't give up, keep it up. Come on, harder. Don't give up now. Almost. Good hit. See what else you got. Oh. Let's put you up here. Got to recall a little thing that just happened. So as you can see, we're on the fuel dock. Or the video I'll show you, we're on the fuel dock. And it's the T dock. It's the first dock that you come to when you come in. Y'all see how it's flowing. So of course when we come in, Marty called earlier to check see if they had a couple spaces. They said they did. And Marty went to a T-dock and I went to a T-dock, just a place where we could get and stop. Obviously the waves and the wind is busting through here. So we come on in. Long story short, I popped the belt on my engine. It's running hot, so I just did get it docked. And guy eventually, he comes down here while I'm tying it up. And I told him we'd called in, and I said we were going to get a spot, and I'd come up there. And I went up there. They showed me a couple spots. So after I had to fix the belt first because I was stuck, stranded. So I run to the store, I get a belt, come back, I fix it. It's running fine. And then this guy comes down and he's like, yeah, you're gonna, let me back up. So when I went up there, I told the guy, I said, yep, I got it running, some big boat coming in. And I said, well, what time is the boat coming in? I said, because I don't want to move unless he's actually coming. I said, I don't want to damage my boat. I don't want to damage somebody else's boat. You know, if he's not coming, I don't want to try to work into this wind, which will be very difficult, very dangerous. And I said, when he's coming, let me know. I'll scoot out of the way. So he was all right with that. So then some other guy, young guy, comes over. He comes down here when I'm sitting here. I'm watching the boat fending it off. And he goes, he says something about, yeah, you're going to have to move the boat. And I said, yeah. I said, I will. I said, when that other boat's coming, I'll get right out of the way. By then I'll have to. Although I don't know why you can't just move down the dock. So he goes, then he says something about you should have called before you got on the dock. I said, we did call before we got on dock. I said, my buddy called. He said y'all had 2 spots. We came in. He said, and then he says, no, you didn't. I said, yes, I did. I said, yes, he did. And then he's like, he gets on his radio or whatever. I quit paying him attention. And then he comes back over and he says, well, you're going to have to get off of the dock. I said, I'm going to get off the dock when that boat comes in. Otherwise, I'm not moving until this wind dies down. It's supposed to die down around, 6 o'clock tonight. And I said, I'll move. And he said, well, you shouldn't have come to the dock. And he said, honestly, it's the stupidest thing you could have done. I'm like, oh, hold up. Like, I don't need to listen to this from you. And actually, I told him, I said, hold up, let me get a camera. Let me get my camera. I want to get this on film. And by the time I got in the boat and got back out, he's on his bicycle riding away. I'm hollering, hey! I'm yelling at him, hey, come back! I want to talk to you. No, he don't want to talk. So I think I'm going to go in there later and talk to him, see what he's got to say. Yep. About 12 and a half, 12.6.
On that dock over there, I'm going to put you in slip number 182. So you're going to go on the south side, all the way down, kind of towards where that one silver with the green canvas is at. Down by there, and I'll meet you down there.
Okay, what is it? 1 what?
182.
Okay. So this is later in the evening, around 6 o'clock. And if you notice how much calmer it is, the winds, according to Wendy, died down just like it said it would. And they came down and I moved it and got it into the slip. Alright guys, as you can see, this was a very trying day, but staying calm, we got through it. Y'all come on back next time. We're going to get on up out of Titusville, start heading north again into the Haulover Canal. That's going to be interesting. We'll see you then. Hey, if you're not subscribed, do that now. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Maybe click on the bell notification so you'll get notifications whenever we drop a new video. We'll see you on the next one.